Spandau Ballet, the British new wave group known for sleek pop hits like True and Gold, didn't get their elegant-sounding name from a fashion label, dance style, or art movement. It came from something far darker and more unsettling. The name has its origins in Berlin during the Cold War, and its meaning reflects an odd mix of historical reference and post-punk sensibility. The story begins with Gary Kemp and Steve Norman, who, along with brothers Martin and Gary Kemp, John Keeble and Tony Hadley, were part of the burgeoning London music scene of the late 1970s. At the time, punk had splintered into various styles, and the members of Spandau Ballet were immersed in a world where bands often sought names with impact, something memorable, mysterious, or provocative. The phrase Spandau Ballet was reportedly picked up by a friend of the band who had visited Berlin. The term Spandau refers to the Spandau district of Berlin, home to the infamous Spandau prison. Built in the late 19th century, the prison became notorious after World War II for holding high-ranking Nazi war criminals. The ballet part of the name is a grim slang term, reportedly used by Allied soldiers referring to the jerking movements of prisoners hanged at the gallows, their bodies swaying like dancers. The phrase had been scrawled as graffiti on a Berlin nightclub wall, and it stuck in the minds of the young musicians. In true post-punk fashion, the choice of name wasn't about celebrating its grisly origins, but about embracing something unusual, edgy, and slightly uncomfortable. Many bands of the era looked for names that would provoke curiosity and carry a certain underground credibility, and Spandau Ballet certainly fit the bill. It was a phrase that sounded sophisticated and artistic while holding an unsettling backstory, perfect for a band that started in the raw, experimental scene of late 1970s London before moving toward the polished, soulful sound that made them famous in the 1980s. When the band transitioned from the clubs of London's Blitz scene into mainstream success, the name carried over, becoming part of their brand identity. By the time True became an international hit in 1983, Spandau Ballet had transformed from new romantic trendsetters into chart-topping pop stars. Their name, though rooted in something grim, now symbolized style, elegance, and the sophisticated image they projected through fashion, videos, and music. From an SEO perspective, the name Spandau Ballet is highly distinctive. Unlike generic band names, it stands out in search results, and its historical and cultural associations provide a wealth of background content for fans and journalists. The story of the name's origin is one of the most searched aspects of the band's history, demonstrating how a unique name can become a talking point that fuels lasting interest. Even decades after their peak commercial success, the intrigue behind Spandau Ballet continues to spark conversation, adding depth to the band's legacy. Ultimately, the band's name is a perfect example of how meaning can evolve. What began as a piece of graffiti referencing a dark piece of history became synonymous with sleek pop craftsmanship and one of the defining sounds of the 1980s. For Spandau Ballet, the name's origins may be grim, but its legacy is one of style, sophistication, and unforgettable music.